One of these days I'm gonna figure out how my mic works in relation to OBS, because I still end up having mic problems even now. I'm a little quiet during this volume, but that shouldn't be as much of a problem as last time. Hope you enjoy, and let's get right into the episode. Hello, once again, everyone, good, beautiful people. Yeah, Friendsim 2 once again. We just got done with, what was it? The, story beats. We just got done with volume 1 with the, Revolution version. That entire thing, I added up all of the time that it took to record that video. That was almost 3.5 hours. Onward to Volume 2, A Thinly Veiled Secret. This route contains content warnings for depictions and discussions of state and institutional violence. Route has action sequences. Player discretion is advised. You sink into your seat and take in your surroundings as the small transport ship you're currently on leaves the port of Galax Space Yacht. You know you've only just arrived back on Alternia, but this is the first time you've really had to relax since you've returned. No weddings to attend, no dead bodies to discover, no trials to lacerate. Just you, the world, the engines, and your 3 good friends relaxing in their own seats. However, you do still have a mission to help your friends survive the Empire. As much as you want to lie down and rest, you think it would be a good idea to chat with your friends for a bit, if only to scope out the general mood. Alright, let's talk to the Gorls, Tyzias, Stelsa. You walk to the other side of the room and find Tyzias and Stelsa sitting together. Tyzias' head is on Stelsa's shoulders, their fingers intertwined in their laps. Stelsa seems to have a death grip on Tyzias' hand, but she doesn't seem to mind. Stelsa immediately perks up when she sees you coming.
Well, if it isn't the newest and best legislacerator in the Alternian Empire.
You? You point yourself. You don't know about that. You just put some puzzle pieces together.
Nonsense. I couldn't have done a better job myself.
You couldn't have done a better job yourself because it's not your department. Thanks for figuring that out back there, though. You really helped me out. In more ways than one.
No problem. Oh, of course. You just want to help out. That's what you're here to do. Be helpful. Speaking about being helpful, you asked whether or not the two of them have thought about your oh-so-very helpful offer to mention earlier.
The alternate universe thing?
Yep, you mean with the two of them bouncing on your heels a bit.
We're not...
Oh, Zizi, I think we should consider it. Can you imagine? We'd be living in a place where nobody is breathing down our necks.
That would be nice.
No more random hive-stem drone checks. No more threat of death for not filling our work quotas. No more having our online data tracked?
You still sort of have that. Anyway, well, I'm so good at this. I wrote the script, actually, if you can believe. I was actually one of the secret writers on High Swap, on Friendsim 2. Well, that last one still definitely happens in the other timeline, though it's more so you can get eerily specific targeted ads.
Well, that still sounds better than the knife that's hanging over our throats now.
Stels, you can't be serious.
Why wouldn't I be? I'm surprised you're not more excited about the prospect of leaving.
We have things to do. People we can't leave. You're not really gonna abandon Tagora like that, are you? I'll be right back.
Tyzias takes her palm husk out of her pocket and starts furiously typing. She was a couple seats away, completely shutting the two of you out.
I'm so sorry you had to see that. I don't know what's gotten into her. I'm sure she'll be back soon. Anyway, how are you holding up after the trial?
Fucking dandy, actually.
What's on your mind?
Well, let's talk about Tyzias. You ask if Tyzias has seen more on Edge lately, or if this is just how she is now.
Just how she... No, of course not. You just popped in on us during a stressful situation.
Sorry to pop in unannounced. She seems so resistant to your plan though.
I do get where she's coming from. She's got her Moirail, Daria. Do you know her?
They're Moirails? Oh, that's cute. Of course you know her. You're the one that brought the two of them together.
Oh, such a good matchmaker. Maybe you can work your magic and get me a Moirail.
Wait 1 second, I gotta pause just to remember what the Moirail thing means. 1 second. Okay, looked it up again on the fucking wiki. Just for a recap for anyone, including me, who doesn't realize it. Mate spirit is like true love, you know, the most basic sense, in the most basic terms. This is from someone who does not care to get too much into it. Mate spirit is just straight up love. Kismesis is hate love in a way. Auspicism is essentially third partying and making sure they don't facilitate switching between mate spirit and kismesis, because that's dangerous. And moral allegiance is essentially friends till the end, really. Soulmates, in a more platonic sense. Got it, okay. Oh, I hate talking about troll romance, it always... Anyway. Yeah, I can probably. They're pretty good matchmakers. You can probably do that.
But I can't blame Zizi for her reaction. It's already so hard to be separated from the ones you love through Ascension. Being separated across dimensions would be even harder.
Well, then we look for Daria. Simple as that. I don't know what the problem is.
We're so lucky that we were both assigned to the Eustacia. I can't imagine what it would be like if we had been split up for good.
Wait, Eustacia isn't just where all Teals are sent when they reach adulthood?
Of course not. Can you imagine one ship with every Teal in the galaxy on it? No, the Eustacia is just the Legis Corpus flagship. We handle the general organization of the legal system, as well as the largest trials.
Oh, so it's a court, so it's a courthouse, in a way.
There are dozens of lower-level ships that deal with much lower-stakes jobs, like contracts and high-blood property disputes. Not to mention the thousands of Enforcement Division legislaturators spread across the galaxy.
Okay.
Placement is all based off test scores. If Zizi and I hadn't placed so high, we might have had to... I don't want to think about the horrible could-have-beens. I'm just grateful we get to live out our ascension together.
That was incredibly lucky. Alright, cool. 1 second, I want to check the phone. Alright, what about Tagora? I asked Stelsa why she's been doing Tagora's paperwork for him. Isn't that his job?
He hates busy work so much, I just thought I could take some of it off his hands. I do get through it pretty quickly after all.
Well, she clearly didn't want to do it for forever, right? Isn't that why she's asking him to take it back?
Well, yes, but you see, do you ever look at a person and think, I could really help him?
You're talking to the MSPA reader, so all the time. As a matter of fact, you do. It's a huge part of the whole friend compulsion shtick you got going on. You didn't think that was normal, though.
Well, that's what I feel when I look at Tagora. He's so easily stressed out, and I know I could be there for him if he wants me to be. So, I take his extra paperwork when I have the time and energy. But I do not have the energy right now. Also, it does not seem fair for me to finish at the last of his work before he goes off the grid forever.
Aw, looks like Stelsa cares about Tagora a lot. Maybe you and Tyzias could join him off the grid. If you can drop everything and hide in the space with Gallic, what's stopping you two?
Oh no, that's far too dangerous. The Eustacia may be no paradise, but it's always safer to keep your head down and do the work assigned to you.
Fair enough. What about your job? You remember Tyzias saying something about Stelsa not being a legislacerator. You ask what she does then.
I'm an order terrorizer, of course.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I probably could have gone down the legislacerator track if I wanted to, but it can be so unpredictable. Order terrorizing is much more consistent.
Yeah, I don't like extra inconsistent variables in my line of work either, if I have ever worked. I have worked once, and the unpredictability is never fun. What does what is what does audit terrorizing mean, though?
Oh, of course. Why should I assume you already know? We handle the internal affairs of Legis Corpus. Presenting elaborate show trials isn't easy, and if the other branches are left to have free reign, the delicate balance of organization goes out the window. Half my job is just convincing the show masters to scale back on their special effects. That's how I started getting really close with Tagora, actually. I had to talk him down from flooding the entire courtroom and filling it with sharks.
That would have been an interesting spectacle.
He was insistent that it was the only animal execution he could do for the crime of impersonating a sea dweller.
You know what? As batshit crazy as this whole system is, that kind of makes sense. That's intense, and yeah, probably really messy.
Oh, tell me about it. The amount of paperwork to properly get even one shark shipped to the Justitia is ridiculous, let alone a room full of them. Aside from wrangling the showmasters, it's really mostly paperwork. It's not interesting, of course, but it's predictable, and that's all I can ask for.
You notice that Tyzias is still a couple seats down, tapping away and ignoring her mate spirit. You really want to find out what's up with her. You tell Stelsa you'll be back in a minute.
Take your time.
You walk over to Tyzias and give her a light tap on the shoulder. She jumps nearly 2 feet in the air and immediately stashes her palm husk away. Okay, damn girl! Shit, sorry. I didn't know you probably shouldn't be doing that in public, but, you know.
What the fuck? Can't you see I'm busy?
You just want to talk. She seems so agitated.
Of course I'm agitated. I was nearly shot earlier today.
That's fair enough.
And now you won't stop bothering me while I'm trying to get important work done.
You ask how she's managed to get work done in this tiny transport shuttle without a husk top.
I'm just talking to some people.
Who's she talking to? Is Daria? She's alive for you?
It's not Daria.
Tyzias takes a deep breath and clutches the bridge of her nose.
Can we talk about this later? Sometime when we're not in such close quarters?
Okay, you get it. You still want to talk, though. You really haven't gotten much of a chance to catch up with her.
Alright, fine. What'd you want to ask?
Like, trying to step around shattered glass. Alright. What about your job? What is it you do? Okay, she's a legislator, right? There's gotta be a legislator on this ship. You thought all Teals growing up to grow up to be legislators, but apparently some aren't, and now you're even more confused about the troll legal system than you were before. Tyzias laughs.
Yes, I'm a legislator. What made you think we all were?
You don't know. It's the only troll legal word you really remember being tossed around. You don't even understand the legal systems on Earth. You can't be expected to remember all the Alternian terms, too.
Honestly, I can barely keep them straight myself.
You know what? As long as we're not the only ones. As long as it's also confusing for some of the people within the system, I'm fine with me being confused.
Makes sense that legislator is the only title you remember, though. For a while, we were all there was.
Really?
Hundreds of sweeps ago, before the adults were sent off planet, legislators did it all. We did the research, caught the criminals, presented the trial. We were an all-in-one law machine.
That did not sound like a good idea, to have it all be homogenized. That sounds like so much to handle at once. You're glad Tyzias isn't set with that kind of expectation now.
Well, things were a whole lot less complicated before Alternian colonization really took off. For one, all trials were his honorable tyranny-based trials.
You tilt your head, confused.
The giant monster trials. All you had to do was catch the criminal, say why they're guilty, and let the monster eat their head. Once we spread out into space, it got harder to make sure there were enough monsters spread across the galaxy, so Teal started to specialize in making interesting show trials in lieu of his honorable tyranny.
Interesting.
That's when the showmasters became a thing, and with them came the auditorizers to keep the logistics in check.
So, does that mean that Tyzias catches criminals? You can't picture her being a cop, especially if she was allowed to choose the track.
Oh, of course not. I'm an investigative legislator.
So, lawyer, or a detective.
Around the beginning of colonization, it became pretty clear that some legislators were better at actually tracking down and catching the suspects, while others were better at collecting and presenting evidence. So, the branch split into the investigative division and the enforcement division, but both kept the title legislator because it was so historically recognizable.
Interesting. See, this is what I enjoy about having branching off stories or add-ons to stories that have a lot of, like, unanswered questions about the history and the lore of the world around us. Like, you can't just slap us in the world and expect us to not give a shit. Especially when it's so bonkers weird as Alternia and all of its neighboring craziness. It's just, there's so much interesting stuff, and this is the type of thing that I wanted to see out of stuff like the official stuff, but it never got to that point, because I guess Hussey thought that we would care more about the trolls, and admittedly we did, but if you make the world that they live in really, really interesting, you can't fault us for wanting to learn more. So I'm glad that it took up to fan creation to, flesh this out. And at this point, since there ain't a whole lot of official things going on at the moment, or really in general, I'll assume that this is all canon until said otherwise, because you can't tell me I'm wrong. Because what are you gonna pose me with? The whole lot of interesting and factual, actual information that we're getting from official Homestuck content nowadays? Hell no. You're gonna have to deal with the fact that this is all we got when it comes to fleshing out Alternia. And I think it's interesting as hell. Anyways, continue on, Tyzias. Oh, sorry. So that means she's like a detective and a lawyer wrapped into one. You ask if she's done any exciting trials where she's brought some nasty criminal to justice.
Oh, I haven't actually presented any trials yet. I'm a neophyte, which means I'm basically a research assistant to one of the senior legislaturators. They're the ones that collect evidence on site and present the trial.
Okay, so you're Gumshoe.
I just comb the archives for anything that can make the troll on trial look even more guilty. It's not a bad deal, honestly. I get unrestricted access to the Empire's legal records, which is kind of a gold mine.
Yeah, she's like Detective Gumshoe. Nice. And you know what? That's not bad at all. A gold mine. You ask why the legal records are so important. Tyzias stiffens and slide glances Stelsa's direction.
It's nothing. They're just super useful for work.
Alright, you see you've pried too far. You decide to change the subject. About Stelsa. Sure, if Sean was lucky that Tyzias got to stay with Stelsa post-ascension, you don't want to know where the two of them would be if they hadn't had each other.
We almost were separated, actually. Our ascension placement is completely based on our coolest bar test scores. We both aced the exam, of course, but Stelsa's scores got mixed up with someone who didn't do so well.
Oh no, what happens to trolls who don't do well?
The ones who fail? Instantly cold. Thank fuck her scores were swapped with someone who just did okay. But for a couple weeks, we thought she was going to be stationed doing paperwork on a low-level fleet ship. We started to say our goodbyes and everything. It was...
Tyzias takes a breath, shuddering at the memory.
If we had been separated, that would have been it. I probably would have deserted or something. The real test scores were found before we actually went off planet. I don't know how I would survive on the Justitia without Stelsa. She's really the only thing that keeps me grounded.
I don't know how they fucked up that process so badly, but hey, whatever. It's probable. Aw, you're really glad they have each other. Tyzias looks over at Stelsa and sighs lovingly. Aw, adorbs. Talk about Daria. Daria! You know Tyzias hasn't seen Daria since Ascension, but you've gotten to know how she is. You need to know that other more allegiance first began. Tyzias looks a bit pissed off at your mention of Daria, but softens a bit when she asks the start of their friendship relationship.
After you introduced us, we started meeting at a cafe by the school feed pretty frequently. She was so angry, and I knew I could help her redirect that kind of anger toward the right things. Guess I saw her as a project at first. That's pretty fucking awful, not that I say it out loud. But it's kind of true. But pretty soon, it became clear that Daria was helping me too. I can get pretty overwhelmed when I look at the state of the Empire, but she helped me see past the smoke and actually get up and do something. She knows people. She might have been an angsty little shit, but she's really good with people. And she got me in contact with other trolls who had the same fire inside them. We started going to concerts together. We were even in a band for a bit.
Hell yeah. Tyzias can play music? You never would have guessed. What'd you play?
Bass. Really bad bass. The whole thing was Daria's idea, and we only did a few gigs, but it was still fun.
Hell yeah. Rock it.
We were basically inseparable for like a week. I don't think there was a day where we made it official, not like there was with me and Stelsa. We just started calling each other Moirel at some point because it just made sense.
Makes sense, honestly.
God, I miss her so much.
It sounded like they were so close. You're so glad you introduced them to each other. It sucks that Ascension had to separate them. Sucks that Ascension separated her from her whole network of friends, it seems. Wait, these people Daria introduced to... Ah! Tyzias gives you a sharp kick in the shins to shut you up. It also scared the fuck out of me. I'm glad that I reacted accordingly. Tyzias gives you a sharp kick in the shins to shut you up, furiously glancing Stelsa and mouthing later. Alright, you'll shut up. Jeez. You look over your shoulder at Stelsa. She's still sitting alone and minding her business. Tyzias takes a peek to its eyes.
I guess I should go back over there. Apologize for leaving so abruptly and all that.
Tyzias moves back over to Stelsa and lays on her hand on her shoulder. You smile. No matter what bullshit either of them have going on, they always seem to have each other.